part of me thinks, like, does he have a brain tumor or something? And that's why he completely flipped a fucking switch.
Would that make you feel a little better?
Oh, it would make me feel so much better. I would have, like, I'll have daydreams that, like, I get a call that, like, yeah, I have a brain tumor. They operated it. I'm back to the man that you loved.
Hello and welcome back to the You Up Podcast Friday Feels episode. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is a very special episode of the You Up Podcast because we have a very special guest. They are a multi-talented singer, musician who became a viral sensation late last year with a little bit of our help.
If we say so ourselves.
Right, if we say so ourselves. When they made a joke song about her shocking breakup and it went viral, racking up hundreds of millions of views, landing her in Rolling Stone, The Cut, The Today Show, Spritely. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. Oh my gosh.
This is a pleasure. This is like meeting, a celeb for us.
Stop. It's the other way around.
We loved your video so much. It fits into what this podcast is all about. Okay, we're actually going to play Spritely's song that she wrote post-breakup. Let's play it.
Imagine you live in LA with your boyfriend and everything's going amazing till he says, babe, I want to move back to Texas to be closer to my dad. So you give up half of your career, quit your improv troupe and have a goodbye party. Take off months of work, deplete your savings to pay for movers and drive to Texas. So worth it for the love of your life that wants a future with you because he said so. So you spend a month waiting for your shit to arrive and then another month moving in and building furniture and stuff, and you're so happy till he comes back from a family vacation, sits on your couch which just arrived in the mail and hands you a note that says we have nothing in common and we're incompatible. Oh no. How did I not notice this whole time? 3.5 years of happiness. We've been incompatible this whole time, and that we have nothing in common for 3.5 years. How did I not notice? Wow, what a surprise. Thank you for informing me that this whole time we had nothing in common. So you pack up your car, whatever you can fit in it, just kidding, you're crying too hard, so we have to pack it for you, and then you drive to Florida to live with your mom.
What I particularly loved about the video was that it felt very much like this podcast in that it takes like this kind of like traumatic story but makes it pretty funny, makes it pretty light, or at least for us, the viewer, probably not for you. But you did a good job of like, it didn't feel like someone crying. Sometimes you see people just like crying on Instagram or like crying on TikTok.
Oh, well, I've had plenty of that too.
But
Don't
that's like
worry.
but that's the only thing you get. This is like almost like a little bit more self-aware felt. Do you know what I mean?
Can you tell the story of how it came to be? Like, tell your story the way you would want to tell it.
Give us your whole life story. Let's hear it.
Okay, so me and my ex met in middle school as pen pals online through a mutual friend.
Okay.
And we would talk all the time, and we were secretly in love with each other. But, like, this is almost before, like, video chatting even. Like, back in...
So are you emailing or are you writing actual letters?
It was, like, AIM, so, like, IMing, instant messaging, like, every day for years.
Who's this mutual friend?
She moved from his town in Texas to my town in New York.
Okay.
So we both knew her in person, and then we're just, like, in like 2007, 2008, we were all like online all the time. So
Okay. And she was like, you're 12 years old. It's time for you to have a boyfriend. I've got a guy for you.
a little bit.
Right?
Not exactly. The falling, quote unquote, in love with him was an accident, and I felt so stupid for it. But anyway, we didn't tell each other that. 10 years passed. We don't talk throughout like college, and afterwards, like completely lose touch. I'm like, oh, I wonder whatever happened to that guy. And then we randomly get back in touch when I'm like 25. I happen to be driving across the country from Nashville to move back to LA and passing through Texas. And so I stay with him for a night instead of a hotel. One thing leads to another, and we fall madly in love. Like, I cannot understate.
In this one weekend?
That started it, and then we started visiting each other, and then it just ballooned from there. And like,
you already had kind of the backlog of having talked and a little bit of trust built, and finally you see each other in person.
The Our Story page.
This is the Our Story page on crack. Yeah.
Yeah. So it felt very much like fate aligned. Like, how is this real life? Like, this is a better love story than I ever could have like dreamed up. And yeah, just so madly in love. I cannot explain that because it's so critical to how this all unfolded into such a fucking disaster.
So you're driving from Nashville to LA to pursue music.
Yeah, I had lived in LA for college, and then I kind of bounced around after that, and I had ended a previous relationship that I was in Nashville with, and was like, Nashville isn't my city. I've got to go back to like my people.
And then on your way to Nashville, you have this weekend, beautiful thing. We get back in touch, and then how do you leave that? You're like,
are you like in a relationship after this weekend? Like...
So I'm like, I was literally fresh out of a different relationship, and I'm like, I'm ready to be single. I don't want to date anyone. I'm going to my life in LA. I have my dreams and my career that I'm gonna pursue. I don't give a shit about Texas, like, and your life being a quiet software engineer or whatever. Even though I'm like kind of low-key in love with you, but like if you want to come with me to LA, like feel free, but I'm not slowing down for you at all. And lo and behold, he came with. And
was he like a work from home guy, or like
yeah.
is that what, so he had the ability to like I'm gonna do this?
Yeah.
So he moves to LA and like in with you? No,
we lived separately for a year. And even at this point, like a couple months into our relationship, some people were like, why don't you just move in together? And I'm like, well, once we move in together, I'm like never going to live alone again because this is the love of my life and we want to spend forever with each other. So like we should spend a year in the same city living separately. But at this point, we were both like, you're my soulmate. We're going to be together forever.
He's saying that to you too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, he was first more than me. I was more shy about that. Like, oh my God, is this real? Like, am I ready for this? It took me 6 months to even say yes to being his girlfriend. Like, because I was, in a different place in my life. And
so you guys are in LA.
Yeah.
And he's there, remote software engineer, doing well. Like, is he like?
Oh yeah, he's Mr. Moneybags.
Moneybags.
So that part of the story everyone got wrong, but like he just wanted me to finance his move to Texas. He's loaded. He got it.
Okay. I never took that from it. I thought he was doing worse.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah. Okay.
We got that wrong.
So we move in together. We lived together for 2 years. All's well until about a year before this all fell apart. He like fell into a depression. And I thought at first that like something was up in our relationship and I was getting really worried about it and bringing it up. And he'd be like, no, I'm just depressed. Like this is normal for me. I like go through these periods. And I'm like, okay. But it becomes more of a thing, persists over many months, puts more of a strain on our relationship, but it's always being blamed on the depression and whatever. And I want to be a loving, supporting girlfriend that sticks with her partner through the good times and the bad times. So
is he seeing a therapist during this time, or like
I had to really usher
to
him into that. He was like, I have my own ways of dealing with it. And I'm like, as the months go by and nothing gets better, I'm like, well, I'm kind of struggling because you're struggling. I don't want to pressure you, but maybe you need more help. And I don't know. I was trying to be patient, but eventually, yes, he does seek some help for it. But then all of a sudden, okay, so I haven't told this part of the story yet. He did try to break up with me once.
Okay.
In November of 2023.
While you're in LA.
While we're in LA.
Okay.
And you're living together.
Living together.
Okay.
Out of nowhere. Again, like this is just in the middle of this depression period. And I'm like, what?
And in this depression period, is he acting like distant and like, are you getting a sense that he's pulling away or he's like sort of inching away from the relationship?
That's what it felt like. But I also trusted that he was telling the truth, that it was just depression. Like he was just being very unemotional and like
saying it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. And it's not like he had his own like friend groups and stuff in LA that he was going out and getting wasted with and like cheating on me with. Like, no, he was home all the time.
Right.
Like there were
Did he have friends? Did he have like a group? Like, because he moved from pretty far away.
I know. And whenever I would question that and be like, let's go do this, that, or the other thing, let's introduce you to these people, he'd be like, no, I'm content in my life at home. And I'm like, okay, fine, if you say so.
Okay.
So he tries to break up with me and I'm like, wait, whoa,
well, what does he say
down.
when he's trying to break up with you?
Well, I asked, is there something you're not telling me at one point? Because I'm like, I start to think, like, is there some kind of, like, childhood trauma that I don't know about that is, like, being triggered right now? Like, I feel like there must be something that is making you act like this. And he says, yes, actually, I guess there's something I'm not telling you. With my therapist, we did this, like, values worksheet. And I thought about what my values are, and I think we have different values. And I was like, okay, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I just think we have different values. And I'm like, are you trying to break up with me or something? And he's like, yeah, I guess I am. I'm like, what the hell? Like, before this, I'm like, okay, we are for life. That was what was communicated. I didn't think you were capable of ever breaking up with me. Long story short, for that period, I was, like, so shocked. But then he ended up saying that it was basically all because of his depression and that he didn't want to make me unhappy and he thought he was dragging me down by being depressed for so long.
He backtracks and says
yeah.
that. Okay.
And I was like, well, I want to be here for you. Like, if I'm unhappy and want to leave, like, I'm the only one who can say that. You can't say that on my behalf. And so then he backtracks and says he doesn't want to break up.
Okay. And what are these differing values that he had thrown out there that you don't have that he has, or vice versa?
I wish I knew.
Okay, so you guys kind of
knew.
like swept that part under the rug, the values discussion. And
Well,
like,
I tried to talk about it going forward, and I guess it's not like, I think I would say we have the same values, but as far as where they rank in our, like, life priority list, like, I'm more creative, I'm more about, like, self-expression, and he's more about, like, I don't know, being a like principled person or like following the rules, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Which is like, I can respect.
Does he think you're like trying to climb your way to the top or something?
I don't know. I really don't know. Whenever I tried to bring these up and like work on them, he would kind of either say he didn't want to talk about it or he didn't want to work on it or it wasn't an issue. So for this to then come around months later, well, let me just keep going on the story. It'll all get explained.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm just trying to like give color to what you're saying. Yeah.
So we don't break up, and he says, like, we're gonna work on it. We're gonna talk about our future, because he was like, our futures are incompatible because I want to be a farm boy and you want to like live in LA and be a musician.
I thought he's an engineer.
Right.
Software. Or something.
Yeah.
Well, is there an element that like he's a little lonely? Like, I mean, like, he moved far away for someone that, you know, kind of quickly, you know, like this was all passion based. You know, you move from Texas where your family, your friends, your whole life is for this woman that I'm sure he's excited and is into it as you are. And, you know, there's a point where you go, holy shit, I just wrote a check and I got to cash it. Like, I'm going to live my, and he, you know, to me, like the values thing, the, you know, I don't want to bring you down thing. These are all things that like are familiar to me. He's saying these things to build a case for why he should end this thing that he's already made a lot of promises on. You know, like he's like, I love you. We're in love. This is the most love we've ever had. This is intense. And then he's like, oh shit, this is life now. Like, and I'm sitting in an LA apartment, you know, with someone that I'm trying to get to know, but I've already told them, I've already written this contract that I'm stuck in.
Right.
So, like, he's got to bring up these other things that are kind of like, I agree they're bullshit.
But he also can't follow through. Like, let's say he did fully break up with you then. Would you have felt like you were as wronged? I mean, we'll get to the rest of the story, but...
Definitely not, because in the months that followed that, we did so much work on our relationship and so many more explicit promises were made and plans were made. So, like, by the time I actually got to Texas, I was like, wow, I'm so glad that breakup scare happened because that led us to new depths of trust and closeness in our relationship, and on top of the whole Texas move thing.
So you don't break up. What are you doing to make this relationship stronger? You're just like communicating more?
Well, I guess he was definitely feeling stuck in LA and he wanted a change. He never wanted to stay in LA forever, and neither did I, even at the beginning. Like I said, I didn't want to stay there forever. So I was like, okay, we'll start talking about where our future will be. Will that be in Texas? Will that be in Nashville where you can have your farm? Because yes, he is like a tech guy, but he grew up on a farm and wants to go back to that life.
Okay. So he wants like the simple life.
He wants a simple life, exactly. So we start talking about that, trying to compromise. He's like not really compromising at all. And I'm like, hello, Earth to boyfriend. Like, you have to give me something here. And And eventually we settle on moving to Austin, Texas. So it's near his family farm, enough to like drive in a couple hours. And it's also like in a major city, so I'm not completely like removed from society.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, are you fighting during this period? You say like, or
No, we hardly ever fought. It was just more of like, I wouldn't even say push and pull. It was like me pulling and him just like not doing anything.
Yeah.
Very inexpressive kind of person, very quiet.
it's like not giving you anything?
Yeah.
Right.
But again, I was just kept being told this is just the depression. It's just the depression.
Okay.
So like, yeah.
So the way he brings up this Texas thing is he's like, I want this farm life. I want to move to Texas. Are you okay with coming with me? Or like, how does he like kind of package this with you?
He went back to the farm for like a month and a half over that Christmas. And before that, he was saying like, I want to live on the farm and that's where I want to live and I can't see doing anything else. And I'm like, okay, so that would mean you're giving me up because I'm not going to live on the farm. And he'd be like, I don't want to do that either. I don't know. I can't think. And he would just kind of freeze. So I was like, you go to the farm for a month and a half. See if that's really what you want
Okay.
without me. And he comes back and says, okay, I really do want to move back to Texas. And I'm like, okay, so this was already kind of something we'd been talking about. And I was like, so you definitely want to move back to Texas. Can that be a city in Texas? Do you want me to come with you? Like, where's your head at? And so the conversation evolved from there. He said he did want me to come with him, but that he wasn't expecting me to want to. And I was like, well, I might want to. I don't know. I have to think about it. And so it did feel scary when he brought it up like that. And I did talk to him about that. I was like, when you brought it up like, I want to move back to Texas, to me, that kind of sounds like you made this decision without me and you don't want me to come. Can you understand why that is a little scary to me? And he was like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have brought it up that way. Thank you for telling me that. I'll do better in the future. So like all these places where I should have seen a red flag, there was also like conflicting evidence for it,
Like a mixed signal.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Okay. Right. And it sounds like, I mean, from what we've talked about on this show, that he is like not really having the courage to like speak to you directly, or like really like he's almost like waiting for you to make a move, like hoping that you make a move or that you don't make a move or that you make this decision for him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a tale as old as time. Like I hear what you're saying, and it's like this stinks, but it's like, how old were you guys at the time?
When we got together, we were 25. At this point, we were like 28, 29.
He's it sounds like a confused guy,
Right.
that doesn't know really what he wants out of life, and it's tough to be confused. I don't mean to take. I don't mean to sound like I'm taking a side. I'm empathizing with his plight because all of this is like in the air. Like again, what you end up doing and the way you do it is where there's where it gets angering and where you put someone out, like when you've made promises and you've affected someone else's life. But I do see in this moment where you're in LA and he's giving you back and forth. If I want to go to the farm, like that's shit you say at 27, 26, 25.
Yeah.
That like I remember my friends and I would be like, we should just go to Maine and just work at a canoe making place.
Right.
And
everyone has had some sort of conversation like that.
Right. And you're like, I've never even been in a fucking canoe.
Right.
And I've said that with friends, and you go on Google Maps and you like search into this like small town. You're like, man, I wouldn't have to deal with anything. Living's cheap. There's no
I could still
goals.
be anything.
I can be anything. I can be, and I don't have to disappoint anyone. And it feels like when you tell when I hear his side, it feels like someone who's really scared of disappointing you as a partner, because he'll say what he wants and then he'll take it back right away. And then he'll see that you're disappointed and he's like, well, I don't want that. And now.
Right. It does seem like he doesn't really know.
Has no idea.
Right. I don't think from what you're saying, it doesn't sound like he's like plotting this breakup. It kind of sounds like he's not sure if like he should be with you or not be with you.
He doesn't know if he's coming or going. He's not growing soybeans. He's not even thinking of the fucking farm. I think the farm is like just a thing.
An excuse?
It's all excuses. It's all like
Excuses for what?
Not being ready for the responsibility of a very serious relationship,
He's
which is
already
like
in a very serious relationship. I
Well,
live together.
then
Are
we
you?
go to
Right.
couples therapy.
Ooh.
couples
Okay, this
therapy. Okay.
Chapter 3.
Yeah.
You're still in LA and you're like, let's go to couples counseling because you're mentioning a farm and you don't know if you want me to come.
Right.
Yeah. So we had both started individual therapy, and then after he says, I want to move to Texas, I'm like, okay, we need more communication. Let's upgrade from individual therapy to couples therapy and see if we can work this out. And I'll decide if I want to come with you to Texas. Because you're telling me you want me to come, but there's some shit we got to work out,
Right.
clearly. And we were so serious about each other from the beginning, and still at this point, that it's like, okay, like couples therapy is a little, like you're not married, it's a little daunting for 3 years in, but we were so serious about each other and our commitment to each other and so in love that we're like, okay, yeah, like this is the real deal. We need to make sure that we actually like treat this with like responsibly
Yeah, I think
before we
that's
break
great.
up or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
I think that's a great. Some people are like, why would you go before
Yeah.
you get married? But I actually don't think that's true at all. If you're
Yeah.
envisioning a long-term relationship, it's sort of like so you can get to decide if you want to get to that point.
Right.
Also, you're both working on it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're both clueless on how to work on it, let's bring
Bring
in
in
a
an
pro,
expert.
you know, and mediate this thing.
So couples therapy was great, or so I thought. I thought it was awesome. I thought like we left happy every time. We talked about things that he maybe wasn't comfortable talking about one-on-one. He's not that great of a communicator, so the therapist really helped him open up and helped me not take some of the things that he was doing so personally. And basically, I came away after every session thinking, it's not me in the relationship. He's not in love with me. It's just his childhood trauma. It's not that he doesn't want a future with me. It's just his childhood trauma and he can't communicate well. It's this, that, and the other thing. And so in hindsight, I'm furious because I'm like, how did you sit through 6 months of couples therapy and let me be brainwashed into thinking that you're in love with me and want a future with me? Meanwhile, you're withholding the fact that you think that we have different values and nothing in common.
Right. So he's not expressing any of these doubts in
None.
couples therapy.
I even asked, because she's still my therapist. Now it like reverted back to individual therapy. And I was like, did he bring this up during therapy? Am I delusional? And she's like, no, if anything, you might have brought it up because he had mentioned it before, but he never really brought up differing values or having nothing in common or anything like that in therapy. So I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy.
Right. Or even just like, I'm not sure about the future. Does he bring up anything like that? Like, I don't know if we're a match. Something like that.
Yeah, I think that got, definitely brought up. But like all these things got brought up, talked about, and then moved on from. And then at the start of every session, I'd be like, is there anything you want to bring up? Like, what do you feel like you have to say or that's up in our relationship? And he'd be like, I don't know. I got nothing. You go. So like, it just feels incredibly irresponsible at best for him to basically, in my opinion, he never actually worked on the relationship because he didn't show up fully.
It's also just like, what a time waste. Like,
Right.
It feels
If
like he
that's
went
the place
through the
to
motions.
do it.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're going to do it. And I'm like, I can understand when like face-to-face in conversation in an argument at the home.
Right.
You go, it's nothing.
Scary.
It's, you
Yeah.
don't go into it. But you're like, we're paying for this. Like, let's use it.
Right.
So you're going through all the couples therapy. You're like, this feels great.
And that's
Now
an important part because you're like doing your due diligence. Doesn't sound like you just like he was like, I want to move to Texas, and you like packed your bags and were like, all right, wherever you go, I go. Like you did
Yeah.
do.
It took me months
yeah.
to decide and agree to come. And then months thereafter to like disentangle myself from the idea of LA and like half of my career, because I was very aware that I was trading in a lot of like career potential for a quiet, simple, happy life with my love. And I was happy to do that. It took a lot of personal work to get there, like months of it. And so that's, another reason why I was so furious. Like, it's this
course.
whole mental gymnastics for so many reasons.
That's why it's so surprising that it got to the point.
Right,
Because
that
you
he
go,
let her
right, to go,
move, yeah.
You're LA, you're young, you have these aspirations. It's like, you're making me leave this thing that doesn't happen in Austin, Texas. Doesn't have. Maybe it happens online, but like, you know,
Right.
I'm out of the game here for this. So, you know, we're making a major decision here. Like, I actually, it's weird to me to like, you know, it's almost easy to go, I'm leaving LA.
Right.
We're broken up.
At least it's like that's the time.
Right.
If you're gonna do it, that's the time to do it.
Right.
I want to go here. I don't feel like the relationship has enough potential for me to ask you to come with me.
And so you decide to go, and you guys get a place there, or you're gonna go stay with the parents first?
Yeah, well, first we were gonna rent, and then he was like, you know what, like, renting, like, I feel like a big boy now. Like, I think it's time to buy. Let's not rent and then buy. Like, we're moving back to Texas. Let's buy a house. So we're looking at houses on Zillow and stuff. And
For you to buy a house together. He's not saying I'm gonna buy a house.
first he was saying he was gonna buy a house, and then I was like, well, we could get a bigger house if I go in on it.
Right.
And then we're looking for a house together. And then he ends up buying it because my contribution is going to be measly in comparison to his.
Okay.
And then they would need to like approve my finances and stuff. It was just,
But it's in his name.
it's in his name.
So was there any discussion when he's buying the house that's in his name for you to live in of like what is our future plan here? Like, because if you're buying a house in your name, we're not buying this house together. I don't know if you discussed marriage or kids or long-term future, but like wouldn't that kind of stuff kind of come into the house discussion?
We both didn't want kids very much from the beginning of the relationship. We were both very
So you're
clear
on the
about
same
that.
page about that.
And then we're also both kind of atypical in that, I don't know, just the idea of like a whole marriage ceremony and stuff like that was never really important to me or him. So that wasn't on the front of my mind. It was more about like timelines, like what's our 5-year plan, what's our 10-year plan, and then looking vaguely into like, okay, maybe in 20 years we would move to Nashville or something like that, so I could have part of my in-person music career and be a producer there or something like that.
Okay,
But,
and I get that. If
yeah.
you're like both not children and marriage focused,
Yeah.
then like those conversations seem less important. But also, I mean, you tell me if this is wrong. Maybe he thinks it's less wasting someone's time if those aren't things that they're interested in.
Yeah. I think he's going to be married with kids in like 2 years.
That's not nice.
I'm just saying. I just like I think a
Wow,
lot of
way to rip my
I'm
heart
I'm not
out.
trying to. I just like when you. This all feels like he doesn't know what the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Like and yeah, it makes it easier to like. There's no time being wasted because like no kids, no marriage. Oh, we're gonna like we're gonna. That also leaves it. I think from his end, probably adds to his anxiety. This is just we float on, and there's no thing we're trying to hit or place we're trying to go, and that could probably feel for someone who's trying to figure out his own life, because it does sound like he's very confused as to what he wants and where he wants to be. Like, I don't even think he'll be a software engineer in 2 years. Like, I think this guy's going to be on a farm with 2 kids and and a wife and living on like the parents' guest house on the property. Like it just kind of. I don't know. Like I don't know anything about him, but I feel like I know this guy intimately. Like because I'm hearing all this, and it's like, it's somewhat classic. Not to make this not a special thing, but like it's just like.
Well, I think that's why it's so That's why the video has
relatable.
millions and millions of.
Right.
Aside from it's very catchy,
Right.
but also just like relatable story
Right.
of like one person thinking you're going one way and the other person kind of being on a totally different page.
Right, and we talk about it all the time. Like we talked about it with Logan Ury. Like she has so many people. It's the next step is engagement or breakup for these guys, and it's like I kind of see that as like when he's going to therapy and not giving you not doing it. That means
Why even do it?
Right. That means he's holding out this one little piece of information that is like the
Critical.
most
Yeah.
important information to the therapy
Right.
situation. So it's like, why waste your own time? Does he think it's just going to dawn on him one day that he's happy in his life and happy with how this is going? That might have been his delusion to think that.
Right. Okay. So do you move into this house that he bought?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you both move into that, and are you paying towards anything?
The
towards
plan was, so he wants to pay off the house in like 3 years because he's very like anti-debt. So he's going to pay like an insane amount
Against debt.
over the mortgage. So I was just going to pay like split utilities essentially.
But anti-debt, another thing, like another character profile of like, I don't know where I want to be. I don't want to be stuck anywhere.
Oh, absolutely. He's very explicit about that.
Yeah, doesn't want to be stuck.
Right.
And then like,
I mean, that's,
again,
now you're like, right.
you know, us, now you're in small town Austin. You know, this is, you know, it plays to the whole personality.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you move into his house technically, and you're paying half the utilities. And and how long are you there?
Wait, one more thing about the paying half the utilities and whatever and not being a participant in the house. When he offered to buy the house himself and I was like, are you sure you don't want my contribution? I know it's small in comparison to yours, but it would help. He's like, no, you should keep that money and invest it towards your career. Like, you're moving to Austin for me. You should like hire an assistant so that you can like relax a little more and achieve more and like happy wife, happy life, right? And I was like, what? And he's like, not that you're my wife, but like you're doing this for me. Let me do this for you. So like that was just another like, I don't know. Anyway,
No, that seems a little bit,
that.
that seems like, you know what I mean? It's the kind of thing that seems really like generous and kind in the moment, but then you
Right.
look back and you're like, was he saying that so that he could cleanly break this
Right.
off
Right.
and they're not, you know, having to sell the house to give you your, whatever your cut is.
He's anti-debt in all forms. You know, like
Right.
he doesn't want, you know,
But it's manipulative to say
Right.
like, you know, get yourself in, like, I just want to make you happy by
Right,
not
he's
having you.
Totally.
Right.
He's made it into a favor and as opposed to like, it's a favor to himself.
Right.
If you're not in on this house, I'm still on my own. I'm still, you know, he's making decisions as a I, not a we.
Yeah.
Right.
All
In
throughout
hindsight,
this
that
whole
is
thing.
abundantly clear, unfortunately.
How long are you in the house before we have a talk?
I was in the house 30 days to a T, and he was there with me for 3 weeks. One of the weeks he was off on his family vacation.
And were you not like invited on the family vacation or how did
I
that...
was invited, but I had like my 3 sisters had just gotten married in the past 2 years, so I was constantly traveling everywhere and had so many things and another wedding upcoming, so I was just too busy with the move and everything to go along with him. But I was invited, yes.
Where did they go?
Where did they go? Did they go to like upstate New York or something? I don't know.
From Texas? Interesting.
To like hike.
So the family's weird.
So they went. I mean, a hiking vacation.
They're farmers.
That's a work.
They're farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
So he goes on this vacation. So for a week out of the month, and
Mm-hmm.
then comes back and has like a premonition. Is that?
Has he been
like,
acting weird? Like,
Okay,
does his family
so-
like you?
His family likes me, yeah.
Okay.
Did you like them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His dad is very nice. He's very old. He's like 83.
Okay.
So he's like slow, but very smart. And we were bonding so much. It's so sad. He was teaching me how to like seal drywall and stuff in our new house together. Like we were having all this.
Right.
So sad.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he comes back from the vacation and he takes the train from the Northeast to Texas because he's big on the environment. Because he thinks that's going to make a difference. Like the plane isn't going to take off without him. Sorry, I'm bitter. I'm bitter and angry.
No,
I applaud the effort.
But taking the
That's
train
another part
is
of the profile,
crazy.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
part of the whole thing.
It's 2
Like,
days
Yeah.
where you don't sleep. He's like delusional.
Well, it's the kind of thing where I could see where like when you're dating when you like the person, when you're dating the person, you're like, oh wow, he's like so dedicated to his
He
love
wasn't
for the
always like that,
environment.
though. This was like a new turn in the last year. Such that like a part of me thinks like, does he have a brain tumor or something? And that's why he completely flipped a fucking switch.
Would that make you feel a little better?
Oh, it made me feel so much better. I would have like, I'll have daydreams that like, I get a call that like, yeah, I have a brain tumor. They operated and I'm back to the man that you
yes.
loved.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, I don't.
Or he's being
I don't
forced
know.
to settle down, and he doesn't want to
Yeah.
settle down. Like this
Well, that
is
doesn't
like
explain the trains.
the trains. It explains it to me. I got
Really?
this. This train. I got 2 days to like,
Ah.
so I don't have to go back right away and have to answer to all these questions.
I have to
like,
think. I get 2 days to be alone with my thoughts.
be right to
Well,
like.
that is what he eventually said. As
Yeah,
the explanation.
It's. I mean, this is
and the environment.
yeah, right.
Yeah, no,
The ozone.
he said like I had 2 days to think, and I'm not like very in touch with my feelings, and so it gave me uninterrupted time to think about this, and he handed me the note, and
He handed
And
you a
that's
note
it.
and then he leaves.
Train note.
God, train wreck, train note. No, he like after that first day he was back. I had like kind of finished working, went into his office to be cute and say hello and stuff because the night before when he got in he was so tired he just went straight to bed. And so I was like hugging him and like, yay, you're back. Yay. Want to go
Right.
cuddle on the couch? And he's
Right.
like, yeah, sure. And so we sit down and then he's like, actually, I just want you to read this. I think this says everything. And hands me the infamous note.
And he's a bad communicator, so he's written this
Yes,
out. And then
yes.
does he like watch you read it, or does he? Oh my god,
Sits there, watches me read
it's
it.
brutal.
And I just go, I don't understand. Over and over again. I'm just like, I don't understand. I'm in utter shock. Utter and complete fucking shock.
Right. It sounds like he gets. You know what? It's interesting. Like I feel like people get like, you know, if you're grading personal attributes, like. I'm sure he's like great in a lot of ways, but it sounds like he's like an F communicator. Like on communication, he gets an F.
F minus.
Yeah, like maybe he's like, I don't know what his positive qualities are. I'm sure, you know, he's dedicated, hardworking, whatever, gets good grade, gets a very high mark there. Mm-hmm. But I would say, would you not say F for communication?
Yeah, it seems like
Maybe D. If it was an F, he would have just left and not said anything.
right.
True.
The communication is like so related, I think, to like he doesn't know himself. Like I don't like.
Well, I guess, yeah, how can you communicate what you don't even understand?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I mean, you read the note, you don't understand it. He's probably not saying much.
Yeah.
And is it like, let me get out of here? I just gotta go? Or is it like,
Yeah. I have obviously like picked over this with a fine-tooth comb in my memory a million times. And like, what if I had reacted in this different way or that different way? But in the moment I didn't know, should I communicate? Should I cry? Should I be angry? What? And I just, at first I like talked to him and was like, what, can you tell me why this is? Where did this come from? Like, and he really wasn't giving me much of anything. And so I just like got up and left the house and went to drive around for like 2 hours. Cause I was like, I don't know, maybe if I like storm off without explanation, it'll make him feel bad and make him, I don't know. I don't know. I was in shock. Got in the car, called my mom and my sister, cried on the phone, then called our mutual friend. Because I was like, SOS, you're the only person that knows him and me.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is going on?
from way back in the AIM days?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
How could you set me up with this guy?
Yeah. Oh, my God. And she was the first person to be like, is he having a mental health crisis? This sounds extremely strange behavior. Like, this sounds like extremely strange behavior. I'm like worried.
This doesn't sound like my friend from homeroom.
Exactly. So I go back in the house and then I interrogate him some more. And I remember but he was like sticking to his decision. I remember like whipping out my phone and opening up the notes app and I'm like, tell me why you're breaking up with me. Because when people ask, what am I going to say? And he's like, I feel like I'm on the spot, right? I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so when people ask if you're breaking up with me, I'm going to tell them you didn't know what to tell me. Is that what you want me to say? Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to frame it in a different way to get him to realize how absurd he's acting.
Right.
Like, how can you leave
what does the
me
note
with
say?
no...
The note says we have nothing in common and we have different values.
It says, like, yeah, there are pieces missing in our compatibility, and I just don't see a future together. I haven't been honest with myself, and by extension, you. I wish I realized this sooner.
Right.
You just moved across the country for me, and, like, I hope in time you can forgive me. Fuck no, bitch. I hope I'm allowed to curse on this podcast.
Is there anything?
We'll
Is there
allow
anything?
it. Just this once. No.
How long ago was this?
August 19th.
Of 2024. Mm-hmm. Okay. And is there any? Now it's been what, like 4, 5 months, something like that.
Yeah,
Ish,
coming
right?
up on 5.5.
Is there anything just looking back where you're like, yeah, maybe we're not that compatible, or maybe
Yeah.
we do have different values or different, like that part. And again, I think if the breaking up with you, totally understandable. The timing and we always say there's no good timing, but there's
Right.
definitely better timing than others.
Yeah.
I think the way and the timing and the communication is really, like, you're allowed to break up with anyone at any point for any reason, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really more like, but do you kind of feel looking back like he's not the guy for you, or like you are incompatible in a lot of ways, or you still kind of feel like you don't understand it at all?
Well, the last year of our relationship was such an anomaly because of the so-called depression and all of that stuff. So I was like, how much of this is actually him and how much of this is real? Because going back to when we fell in love, we fell so in love. And I was sure on my path, I'm going to LA. I'm a musician. Like, I'm pursuing my dreams. If you want to come along and hitch a ride, feel free. And then he did and was like, I love you so much. I will sacrifice everything to be with you. And I was like, okay, great. It was more than that. Like, it was more of a two-way street from that. And then we grew from there. And then he was like, okay, now I have needs. I need to go back to my life and I need you to compromise. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I will, because I love you that much. So, you know, obviously it wasn't like the ideal partner, but it started off strong and then we grew together and then he just already was my partner and I was willing to sacrifice for that, for love.
You were willing to make it work, even
Right,
though
yeah.
you did you were incompatible in some ways. Or
In some
again,
ways,
it
yeah.
sounds like he's even like with his communication. I feel like that would be hard to have a life together if the person kind of like shuts you out when they are going through something. I
Yeah.
would imagine.
Well, that's become obviously way more apparent in the past 6 months. Like, before that, we had so much in common and we had such a strong bond. And now, especially with everything that's happened since then, with the viral video and all that stuff, that my life now is completely incompatible with his. He's so shy and yeah.
So let's start with that.
Yeah,
so
I
when
wanna
do you
hear
get
more
in the
about that.
sound
Yeah.
booth? When do you start singing?
Right. So you moved back. You moved to Florida.
Yes.
And with your mom. Why didn't you go back to LA?
Well, this was like days after the breakup. I was like, I don't know what to do. I need to get out of this house. So I can't go. I don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
in LA.
Okay. So you went home. Right. That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
it was a shorter drive to Florida. And also I knew that like I need to fall apart for months. Like, I am unwell. So unwell.
You need to be around people who like love you and care about you.
Like,
and-
I need to
right,
be
yeah.
taken care of. I need to be fed and clothed. Like, I am not well.
Right.
And so I go home to mom and I get back in the sound booth on day 6 is when I wrote this song that's coming out now called Before I Fall Apart. So no, that's not the infamous joke breakup song, but it is like I am horrendously depressed. Like, I feel like I'm carrying around a backpack of rocks every single day. I only have like a couple hours of clarity where I can do anything, and I'm stuck thinking about the breakup and the heartbreak anyway, so I may as well like make art out of it. So I'm just like writing a ton.
Best time for that. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely
creatively.
got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
I quit all my like jobs. I'm freelance, so that's why, in case anyone was wondering why I could just do that. I'm as a freelance artist, I can just like not take on new work. And that's what I did for a long time and kept writing, kept thinking in the back of my mind, like there was this little kernel of hope that was like, maybe this one thing is going to be the thing to like finally make my music career happen. Like, you know, the way Adele thanked her ex when she wrote like Someone Like You and Rolling in the Deep and stuff. She's like, thank you for breaking my heart. And I'm like, maybe that'll be me. While also knowing that I was like
Right.
delusional and just trying to maintain a will to live.
Are you speaking at all to him during this breakup?
Yeah, a little bit, but it gets real bad. We had a phone call 1 week after the breakup. I had like many questions then that I calmed down and he answered them. And it was a nice, respectful, kind, sad phone call. We hang up. That night I have a dream that
Don't want to hear
God.
that as a guy.
I'm probably going on way too long.
No,
like, how
no,
are we
I
on
wanna
hear
time?
all of it, yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
That night I have a dream that I woke up in our bed in Texas and realized the whole breakup was a nightmare. And I was like, oh, thank God. I knew it couldn't be real. It was, oh, thank God. Everything's back to normal. How did I believe that that was real? And then I woke up from the dream and was just shattered. That was like 2 a.m. and I just,
So this dream is the worst thing that ever happened to him. It's like,
I,
couldn't you just
Well,
dream
it's probably from the good phone call. You had like this subconscious
yeah.
sense of like, this is
we're normal?
maybe we're okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like up all night staring at the ceiling. The next day I'm just devastated and break and send him a text saying, last night I had a dream. It's so sad that the breakup was a nightmare, blah, blah, blah. Just nice, sad.
Right.
No response. And that just
I
coming,
guess what response did you want from that?
anything.
Come back to Texas, baby. we're back
Well, I
together.
mean, that's like that's the dream response, right? But if it's
Right.
not that, like, I guess, and
had the
I'm
same
not saying
dream.
I don't think it's right to not answer at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not gonna say that, is there anything he could have said that would have felt
Yeah.
okay that wasn't what you just said?
Well, I'm trying to think of what I would probably not answer.
Damn.
I'm just saying, like, what are you gonna, we're
Ouch.
broken up. I'm sorry you had this
Right.
dream. What can I do? I would do anything for you to have a dream that like made you feel a
I
different
know
way.
what you would
Like,
say. I think you would say like,
sorry
I'm
you-
sorry you had that dream. Like, I really feel terrible for hurting you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd probably
That would
write
be-
that.
yes.
If I were to write back, that would be it would be
Yes.
A or B. It would be nothing, or it would be like, I'm really sorry that.
And again,
dream
he's not
affected you that
you're a
way.
much better communicator than this guy. So I think
Sometimes
you would,
I wonder. You
I
know,
think
like
you would do option B.
I know this guy so well. It sounds like it could be me.
Yeah,
know?
you guys should hang out and you'd be best buds.
I'm not a big hiker. So-
Yeah, no, I mean, anything. Just, I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it gets better soon. Like, at that point, that simple of a response would have done it. Like, we were so bonded. He was my other half. We were fully entwined. And like, just to have my other, like, I filtered the entire world half through his lens because we were a team. And so to just have that be cut off and then him to just like not even respond was just gut-wrenching.
Well, he's obvious. You know, you just said it perfectly. You're looking at the world through us, and he's just not.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the theme of like the whole relationship. Like, maybe at some point it felt like that because he's moving with you, and he says we're gonna do this together. But like, again, money plays into this too. You said he has money. He has the ability to move. It's not like he's giving up a job to go to California. Like he gave up kind of nothing. He got you and got a loving relationship, and with no real change other than location. Like, and the minute he was asked to make a sacrifice for this, it became too hard for him, and now he's got to like he's stressed out because he's got to go from me to we. And he could never make that transition. And I think that's like a big part of dating. Are we a we, or am I just doing all this me stuff and it kind of feels like a we? When do you write the
Yeah, well, that's
song?
what I'm saying. So are you fueled
Yeah.
by this non-response? You're like, all right, you didn't respond. I
man.
guess we're over. Time to like make some money.
I have to skip through some of the story because it's so long. But so weeks pass. I don't know. Sometime in the first month, maybe like 3 weeks in.
That was the last time you spoke.
No. Oh,
Okay.
we've definitely spoken since then. But I see like a joke song on TikTok about like, you know, sometimes people make those spoof songs about losing your keys or just something stupid. And I was like, you know what? I should make one of those about the breakup. And that'll be a less depressing way to tell everyone why I've been missing and not in Texas, like they think I am, than just like a monologue crying to the camera. Like, hey guys, I know you've been wondering where I've been, probably, and I'm not. Like, that would be lame. So I'd make
more fun.
this song, and also out of spite because I am like, I just want it to sound stupid, and I want to make him feel stupid.
Well, let me just say, this is something that like I will say that not a lot of men relate to, and kind of why like a breakup becomes seemingly easier for a lot of men, and the way he's just like, here's a note, see ya. Like, you ask, what am I going to tell people? What am I going to say to people? How do we brand this?
Right.
I don't think any man has a relation to that unless they're like cheated on very publicly. Like, and even then you see those guys kind of deal with it in very bad and quiet ways. Like,
The Tom Brady weird sunset picture.
right. And they don't, right. That's a perfect example. Cause you're like, you know, he didn't do like a crying to the camera. Like, you know, what you're saying right now, you're like, there's people wondering where I am. Like, I don't think there's anyone wondering where he is at all. And I think that would be the same for me. I don't think I'd have a group. Where you been? How come there's no pictures of you and your there's no pictures ever of me and my gal.
Right.
There's no, there's no.
I relate this to almost like the male version of getting fired.
Fair.
Are we saying I resigned, or how are we packaging this?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, how am I going to put this? I mean, that would be, I feel like, a concern for
What have you
the male
been,
version of that.
I guess, yeah. What have you been doing lately? Like,
Right.
I've been out of a job. What? How did that happen? I guess
You have
but-
a story that you're packaging to tell other people.
But the way you're saying, you're like, okay, well, here's my moment to like tell, the group what's going on. And you do see these a lot on TikTok, and there's a community of, women telling these crazy but not so crazy stories of what went down, and finding a community of people that are commenting and going, it happened to me, and this is, and oh my God, they're all horrible, and this and that. So it is interesting that you're like, okay, let me put a tune to this. I see,
Yeah.
because it really does hit all the notes for virality on TikTok, especially because it's
Right.
like, it's a interesting story, it's relatable, and then you're like, catchy tune.
Yeah.
I
had
like
the trifecta.
I mean, what's better than that? So
Right. The catchy tune. The tune was great.
It was great.
But so I hope it's clear that I deliberately made it sound bad. I don't
is it?
actually sing like that.
I've been singing in the shower for
I
months.
enjoyed it.
So I made that in like 30 minutes. I didn't
really
write
enjoyed
any
it.
lyrics. I just like spitballed, and then all the harmonies are me they're all a split second late because I'm listening to what the lead vocal sang. And then I'm like trying to repeat it like a split second later. And I like purposely pulled my voice out of tune. And I'm like, you're so happy. Like, because I
sound
want
like
it
you're
to
upset,
sound
like-
so stupid. Like I want it to be like so like I don't know, sarcastic, tongue in cheek. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
No,
That
definitely-
came
definitely,
through
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, okay.
The
So your voice is better than that. It's not your real voice. Okay.
Not to brag, but yes, my voice is better
So this
than that.
this song, you post it within like minutes. You're like seeing
No.
it. No.
Oh, wait. I don't post it within minutes of making it, if that's. Sorry.
No. I mean, like you put once you do post.
You were
it.
classy. You blurred out. You did the smiley face over the face.
Oh yeah. No, the way it's done is perfectly done, perfectly executed. But I know on TikTok, if you put out something that like it'll pop. Did it like did you put it up and like
How many followers did you have when you put it up?
So it actually did way better on Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram was
think that's where I
crazy.
saw it.
TikTok was kind of more like I've had similar sized viral videos on TikTok from other stuff. That got like 4 million on TikTok and probably like 20,000 followers from it. So just nothing to sneeze at. Like,
Legit. Yeah.
but on Instagram, it has, I don't know, 50 million views and counting.
Wow.
Got like 140,000 followers. It's from that just alone on top of what I had earlier. It was crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy,
140,000
crazy.
followers. Wow.
I had no idea. And if I had an idea, I would have waited so many months until I was better because I was so unwell at this point still. Like I was
That's always
barely,
the best, though. That's when you're
that's
like,
why it did well.
Yeah.
That's part of it. It's
Right,
fresh
yeah.
and people can feel it.
There's a video that I
raw.
haven't posted anywhere of me sobbing hysterically in my car because I have the interviews with Vox and Rolling Stone the next day, and I'm like, I feel like this is my one chance, and I'm wasting it because I'm too depressed to finish any of my music.
right. Well, it must be a weird kind of state of mind to live in because you're like, it's kind of the best career moment
Yeah.
of your life while also being like the worst personal moment of your life. So you're like, am I
Yeah.
happy? Am I not happy? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Right?
And the
does-
reason I posted the video is because I didn't want to undo all the work I had done, like doing this TikTok cover series I had been doing. Like I didn't want to just like ghost the internet after I'd been working so hard at
you
all
don't want
this
to lose your
music
whole
stuff.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I need to explain why I've been gone and why I'm no longer in Texas with the love of my life, which I'd made a very big story about, you know? So a lot of anxiety.
And does he see, when does he see this video?
I don't know, but
Has he seen it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
50 million, the whole country's seen it.
When I heard it was on the front page of Reddit, my first reaction was, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And I sent it to our mutual friend and I was like, is he going to hate me for, is this
Were
going
you
to
like,
give him?
we're never getting back together? Is that your fear?
I think at that point, I knew from the beginning we were never getting back together. Even though it hurt so bad and I wanted to have hope that we could, I knew
You
deep
felt like
down.
it was permanent, right?
Yeah, there was no hope. I wanted some kind of resolution and I felt like we were on such bad terms and I felt so horrible and there were all these questions I had that he hadn't answered and I felt like I'd been so essentially gaslit and lied to. I know that I wasn't gaslit, like I'm not calling him a narcissist or anything like that, but there were just so many holes. I was just in so much pain and I needed him to answer some questions. And I was like, is he going to take this as an excuse to hate me and completely discount all my feelings about this breakup and just be basically like,
be like, we're even.
Yeah, exactly. And I was, so I was, and he was still the most important person in the world to me then. Like, yeah, I hate to say that, but hadn't been that much time. Like,
Right.
What's the questions you want answered at this time? So that it comes out, it goes viral, and you're just like, I still have questions.
why did you lie to me throughout months of therapy? Or if you didn't lie to me, then why did you think it was okay to cold turkey break up with me without ever honestly working on our relationship? Those are the main things when we promised a future together. Like, at that point, he made commitments that he broke. If he got himself to that point, he should have brought up what was wrong and we should have worked on it, or at least done it in a more kind and less traumatizing way than he did it. And then now I have more questions because he's just treated this breakup horribly. And I just...
Well, what is when he's seen it, you said.
Yes.
So how do you know? What is
So I totally didn't follow any no contact advice. I was an unhinged dumpy. I was sending him emails and texts trying to be like, why won't you answer me? And like unpacking all this stuff. And eventually he did answer one of them because I said something like, oh yeah, I had the video with the cut and she'd asked me like if I'd take it all back to be with him, and I said yes. And then people were like roasting me online, and I was like, people are telling me that you're a piece of trash and that I should hate you, but here I am just crying because I want you back. I'm so horrendously depressed. I don't know how I'm ever going to get over this. I love you so much. I don't see life without you. I'm so broken. Like, have you even seen the video? Do you care? Like, I don't know. And I'm terrified.
He's on a train just looking out the window.
and
then
the chickens.
Long story short, he basically comes back and says like, yeah, I've seen the video, like you violated a boundary and I no longer want to talk to you because I think it's going to be publicized. And that's not the end of the story. There's more that gets said.
So no congratulations.
Right. I mean, he did exactly what you thought he would do.
Yeah. And it's not surprising that he wouldn't want to keep talking. Like, I get that. Like, he doesn't want me to, like, post screenshots of our texts and emails, which I would never do. But I did still feel like, yeah, I've posted a viral video, but you destroyed my life and my mental health for 6 months. Like, I'm just now feeling better. Like, he destroyed me. And so no viral video can come close to the damage he did to me. And I just felt like that was really unfair.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If he wasn't answering you before that, he wasn't. I feel like maybe part of you is blaming yourself for like.
Yeah.
That's why. And I think that was just an easy thing for him to say. And like that sounded like it was fair and rational. But I also think that he probably just didn't want to like deal with what he'd done, and that's what he was using. Like, do you not agree with that? Like, to me, it's a pretty good argument on his behalf, but I don't think it was like he would have been talking to her anyway.
The like you
violated the boundary, so now I'm not talking.
It's
to you.
exactly what she said was going to happen. He basically now gets to not have to deal with
right. Use it as a we're even kind of feeling.
We're even,
right?
and it's.
Is there anything that he could have said that you feel like would have helped, or like not?
Yeah,
really?
I mean, the first time he actually did email me back with any kind of substance, which was basically to call me out for the video, I was like, thank you for responding in a way that you're actually saying something. Like, all I've ever wanted is a sincere response from you. This is about more than just the heartbreak. This was psychologically so challenging because everything I knew about the world and like my trust in the world and in people got turned upside down overnight, to the extent that I was wondering if I was having a psychotic break. Like, this was so out of nowhere with no explanation. It was just deeply, deeply challenging, and I deserved just more explanation than that. And when I did all of the work of trying to analyze the relationship from every angle and like give him, was it this? Was it that? Why did you do this? I'm unpacking all these things. I need answers. I need to understand why this happened. And he just never did answer that.
I guess, as I'm listening right now, like the most enraged, when you say that, like, finally I got like a response, I got some like real, like he's mad about this video, like that's real. That's an actual emotion.
Yeah.
You've been kind of just dealing with this front for like years now.
Like, please leave a message at the tone.
Right. And
Click 1 for vague apology. Dial 2
and
for...
then goes back every time. Like every time you go, hey, what's going on here? He kind of comes back from his actual feelings to just like get you to kind of shut up.
Right.
Like it's like, I don't know, I want this to be easy. I don't want to have to deal with anything. So he always like he'll give a moment of like, I feel this way, and then you'll be like, wait, what is this? We got to work on this. And then he's like, oh, work? Well, everything's perfect. So you're always getting like, it's got to be enraging to know you're not getting the whole story.
Enraging, but also in some ways, I think, if you look at it like this, like a little bit validating. Like he broke up like he was in the relationship. Like he's acting the same way, as in like not giving you any real communication that's like a real vulnerable, intimate thing. He's like saying lines, which sounds like he was doing that even in therapy or like in that relationship. And so if there's anything I feel like to take away from that, it's like this person was never going to be able to communicate with me in a way that would have made me happy long term in like a real relationship, because they like are incapable, seemingly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To an extent.
No, I don't think he, again, like I can understand someone being like, you're letting him off the hook by saying like he doesn't know. Like I think he knows that he's doing wrong, but I don't think he has the words to like even put to his own like as an explanation. And it's like, the more he's like, well, I gotta have words, so I'm gonna put this off, like by saying everything's fine and it's my mental health and I'm dealing, it's it's brutal. So then you get the mat, and since then there's communication or
Since then, there's been communication. He had
through lawyers. No,
he had an issue with the video, and I was like, well, I can't talk to you. You won't let me talk to you. So this is how I'm overflowing with things I need to communicate, and that's why I'm sharing it online. Because
also, he's with you. He knows he's with you. You're an artist.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Like, that's what you do. He knew that the whole time. It's not like you're a dentist and you release this video, like artistic video. Like that's what you do.
Yeah. He was like, I understand writing a song about it, but like posting videos and whatever, like, okay, fine, if it's highbrow art. Well, you get your highbrow art now with this song that's coming out today. I think
is
by
the
the
song
time
out today?
March 7th.
Okay,
Yeah.
March 7th.
It's called Before I Fall Apart.
Yeah.
So so now you've written a whole album
Essentially, yeah.
about the breakup and how you've been feeling
Yeah.
over. And did it come quick? It came like, was it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, most of them were written in the first, 2 weeks after the breakup. This was the first song that was written, and they get progressively more angry and unhinged.
Did it get set up, so this viral video, did that help set you up to, do people say, hey, we want the album, we want the follow-up, we want the...
Yeah.
And do you have to let them know that, maybe this isn't going to be... this funny video, but it will be relatable. Like I have an audience of people who relate to kind of what I went through, and trust that they're gonna go along with the the real version.
Yeah, to be completely honest, it is scary because I had this big viral breakup video moment, but I am a musician. I've always been a musician, and of course I want to be a successful musician. I've been struggling. This is a sexist and ageist industry, and I kind of gave up my dreams to go move to Texas with the supposed love of my life, and then I was in this place of okay, I want my dreams back, and then this all happens, and I'm like, is this my big opportunity? Oh wait, nothing's ready. Is this even going to translate? So there's definitely a lot of fear around it, but at the same time, I am so lucky in so many ways to have connected with so many people who have been through this shit. And I don't know, everyone seems to just be really supportive of whatever way I'm expressing what's going on, whether that be through a serious song or a joke song or a unhinged bitching video. And I'm so thankful for that. And not everyone has that level of support and validation. And I'm really lucky to have stumbled into that when I really needed it. Oh my God, it helped so much.
Well, that's the upside of the internet.
Right.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can always find a group, and but this is a big group. People who have been in tough relationships and been in something maybe like longer than they would have liked to, or didn't know what the other side was thinking, or never got an answer. This is all relatable stuff.
It's so psychologically challenging is the thing that I couldn't have known before I went into it. It's not only heartbreak, it's like psychologically difficult to digest that it even happened when it was just so overnight.
Right.
So the next step is the album comes out.
Yeah, well, I don't know what exactly form it's going to take. I have an album's worth of songs.
Okay, and is it Spotify? What's the best thing that helps you the most that we can tell
where
people?
Yeah,
people
the
find it?
Spotify, the Apple Music, it's on all those places. Just the first song for now, but
Okay. So Spritely's new single comes out today. It is Before
Indeed.
I Fall Apart, and we're going to play a snippet at the end of this episode so that you can hear it. And then we don't want to ruin it, so we want you to go on all the music streaming sites, Apple Music, Spotify, search Spritely, subscribe to Spritely so that you have all the songs that she puts out in the future, and go listen to the song. So let's hit it.
Couple minutes here and there when I'm numb enough to breathe. Gotta book the flight, take the shower, learn how to crawl, make sense of it all. Before I fall apart, before I'm a disgrace, before I curse you back into outer space, I fall apart.
It's great.
yeah, thank
Love
you.
it.
Awesome.
Passion.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
That's
much.
great.
Thank you so
I
much.
can't
Go
wait
look
to
up
hear the whole
Spritely.
thing.
Go follow her on all the socials, but especially go on Spotify, Apple Music. That's where it's done. That's where it all happens.
Yeah.
So
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
This
you
is-
so
I know
much
it's
for
not
having
easy
me.
to tell a pretty traumatic story when it's like still like fairly fresh. So thank
Yeah.
you so much. We really appreciate it. I'm sure there's many people listening to the show who relate to this. I mean, Jared said
Well,
tale as old as time.
it is, but can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Have you started to dip your toe into the getting back out there? Let's look.
Are you dating?
Are you dating? Let's the exclusive, the U Up
Yeah.
exclusive.
I immediately downloaded Hinge after the breakup. 'cause
Immediately?
Immediately. Like days after,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I was
Distractions. You're
I
looking
needed
to get-
distraction.
yeah, yeah.
I needed the
Validation.
light
A
at the
little
end. I needed a
validation,
little
too. Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I did go on one date. I went on 2 dates with one person who I did do a little kissing with.
Good.
Nice.
That was nice.
Okay.
Very
Got
nice.
back out
Had
there.
fun.
Yeah.
Little walk before you run.
And then I immediately after that was the posting the breakup video and crying on the internet constantly. So I'm like, this isn't a good look. Plus, I realized I had a lot of healing to do, and dating was just not my priority.
Did that
so,
guy see the video?
Yeah, he did. And we've actually hung out since then.
Huge fan.
He's cool. I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Is how has that been? Are you?
Hopeful for the future?
Oh, I'm hopeful for the future. I'm such a
Yes.
romantic. I believe in love. I'm proud of myself for the decisions I made, because even though it turned into an epic disaster for me, I wish that more people were willing to take the leap for love. I wish that he was willing to take the leap for love. He wasn't, and it's meant to be, whatever. But
No regrets.
No, well,
Some regrets.
hard to say that now, but
I mean, it brought you to this,
Yeah.
like career-wise, I feel like that really.
Yeah. I'm not quite at the place where I can thank him for it yet, but
Okay, you'll
maybe
get there.
someday.
You're almost there, because
Yeah, I can
even
feel
the
it.
way you described it just now is actually very empathetic to his problem. And you say, "I wish he wouldn't make the leap for love." That's like really the answer to the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
he wouldn't, and it's sometimes it's tough to jump. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's. No, we wish you the best. It brought you here to the Betches
Yes.
HQ.
And I'm single and I'm ready to mingle.
Do you
There you
accept
heard it
Mingle
here
with
DMs?
me.
first.
Do you accept DMs?
Sprightly,
flooding into your
we're-
DMs?
to the
I
male
accept DMs,
listeners.
but I lose track of them very easily. So it's just
Okay.
not I would say stumble into me in a really cute way.
There we
Okay.
go.
Let's manifest and meet cute.
Go
Yes,
on
love
AIM and
Yes.
Yeah.
well, thank
it
you
back,
so much.
yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It's been
This
so
was
fun.
great. And we'll be back next week.
Boom.
Kate McAuliffe is our senior producer. Our editor is Emily Freed. Candace Maniga is our senior social producer. Our associate producer is Will Maxwell. Additional production help from Shannon Jimenez Sasson. Be sure to follow us at u.up.podcast and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.